Welcome back to Save the Pumpkins podcast, Christmas edition. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
This is Amy.
This is Shane.
So, what do we got going on today?
I just left you with a really cold open there. I just didn't, instead of taking over and talking at 100 miles an hour like I normally do, I just waited to see if
I know
would
you
say
threw
it.
me off there. I was waiting for it and it didn't come. So, what can we criticize or hype up today?
So we're recording 2 today, right? We've talked about this. I don't mind spoiling a little bit behind the scenes. I don't think we're going to be a lot of criticizing. You will.
Of course.
Yes. Today we're going to talk about 2023's Checkin It Twice. Starring? Oh, we both did starring at the same time, and neither of us are going to say. Okay. So it's starring Matula and Kevin McGarry. Now, I don't know him. I've not seen, honestly, didn't look up much on him. Matula was in probably my favorite Christmas movie of last year.
Mm-hmm. That we, if people go back on and watch it, I think that was the one where you made fun of me a lot because I think, is that the one that you said?
You weren't listening to it. You weren't watching.
Were we watching the
you
same
totally
movie?
forgot it. Yeah, exactly. That she was in Ghost of Christmas Always. That's the movie we're talking about, and it was. I think she is a good actress, a really good actress. I think she's talented. When we got through watching that, I thought, okay, next on Hollywood, like she's going to be like Jessie Schramm is on Chicago Hope or whatever she's on. I was like, oh, well, this
Chicago Med.
I thought it was Chicago Hope was the name of it. Is that name? Oh, what's Chicago Hope? Is
Chicago Hope, I think, is from like a long time ago.
I think you're wrong about that. I'll have to look that up in a minute, but I think I might be right. But I don't know. Anyway, I was thinking to myself, well, she's going to be in the next. Like somebody's going to scoop her up. She's good, and she's got that look that Hollywood likes too. You know
I agree that I think that she's a good actress, and I'm a little disappointed up against who she put in this role. Because
up against who she put? You mean who?
Who they put her against?
With her
co-star.
Her co-star, yeah.
Oh.
I don't want to talk too bad about him, but we'll get there. So this one is directed by Kevin Fair, who directed 3 Beds, 2 Bath, and 1 Ghost, or as you like to call it, 3 Beds, 1 Bath, Ghost.
Never gonna let me live these down, are you?
Which we also really liked. Both of us really liked. It was Julie Gonzalo and her husband, and we thought it was good. Yeah, and we're going to do what we've been doing with these, which is to say we're not going to spoil it. I'm going to get to a point, and then I'm just going to stop talking about the story and start talking about the things that we liked / didn't like about it, right? But we'll talk about the story a little bit. We open up, and Ashley, who's Kim Matula's character Ashley, is at an airport, and she's just kind of wandering around as the credits roll, and she gets a call from her current boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't really go. He is gone in 5 seconds, and you never hear from him again.
Yeah, it's current boyfriend and coworker.
She's a real estate agent, and he's telling her. I was a little confused with this. I didn't go back and watch it again, this section, because I wanted to talk to you about it and get your interpretation, what you remember, which is scary. But that's what I want to get. So he's saying to her, "Oh yeah, about those clients. They just decided they'd be more comfortable going with me." And she says, I can't believe you're poaching one of my clients, right? And that's what he's doing in essence. He's taking one of her clients.
Right.
You get the impression that their relationship is cold. I don't remember there being any love you, sweetie, little
yeah, it's very matter of fact and real
pet
quick,
names
like
or anything. Yeah, it is. And then I don't know if she breaks up with him. She hangs up on him. I don't know if she says, well, that's it. We're just not going to work together. I don't know if she says that or not.
Well, because the plan was that he was supposed to come
little holiday in
a little
handcuffs
bit
for you.
later.
A little holiday in handcuffs. He's supposed to come and be with her to visit the parents or whatever. Yeah. I'm not remembering him, nor am I avoiding bringing the actor up or anything like that. He's irrelevant completely.
Right.
Like it's barely a bit part. It's completely irrelevant. So anyway, she goes around and goes to the airport gift shop, right? She's looking for I think
Well, now she has now succumbed to the comfort food that women,
I was getting ready to say she goes towards the chocolate.
yeah, that women
I
need.
giggled and felt guilty about giggling because I was like, I'm not a woman. I don't know what it's like to drink chocolate, eat chocolate through a breakup. But when she did it, I looked over to you and I'm like, that's funny, right? Like she just went
Yeah,
to a
eat
piece of
chocolate,
chocolate.
and then she grabbed a magazine that had some
Yeah.
title on it that was relatable to what she was going through
Sure.
at that
some,
moment.
Some like 15 ways to get your
Yeah.
hair, your mojo back or whatever. Yeah, some cosmopolitan type thing. And she kind of bumps into Scott, who's played by Kevin McGarry. I hope I'm saying that right. Right, McGarry. A lot of these people, by the way, we'll talk about it in the next film we're going to review. We'll just discuss, I should say. Review, discuss. A lot of these people, what I do is if their name isn't something like Jim Jones that I can easily pronounce it, I'll just go look up an interview with them and hear them pronounce it.
Mm-hmm. That's
what I like to do, because you can think something is said one way and be just completely wrong. But a lot of them they just don't have interviews. I was shocked on the next movie we're going to review. There was a couple of the actresses. I was like, really? You don't talk ever? You were fantastic in this movie. Your agent kind of stinks because you should be out there. People should know who you are, kind of thing. But his name is Kevin McGarry, I believe. McGarry, and he plays Scott. She runs into Scott. Scott is coming in from, he's being transferred to like a farm team, a farm hockey team with aspirations of going to Boise, because this is in Idaho Falls. So he's got aspirations of going to Boise to play. But he's being transferred to this new hockey team, the Trouts, right? I think that's what they were called. Give us a warm trout welcome.
Right,
Yeah, the Trouts. So it's weird. Are we weird that we're in Idaho for a?
It is weird, but it's refreshingly different.
Yeah, but does it track that it's Idaho and hockey?
I mean, I just thought that the
whatever.
shirts with the trouts on it, like animated trouts, was a little comical.
Yeah, but that's okay, right? Because that's lighthearted and that fits the vibe you hope they're going for. Which, by the way, one of my few criticisms of Checkin' It Twice is they don't really have a vibe. They're just kind of doing a thing. There's not like a.
Before you go a little bit further, I don't know if we were going to hit on this or not, but can I just say how cute the scene was in this gift shop? Were you on the same page with me? It portrayed the inside of an airplane, and people were able to sit. And the seating was like airplane seats against.
I mentioned it, and you said, "Yeah,
window.
right." You were already thinking it, obviously. Yeah.
And cute little overhead, but it was like
it was a gift shop.
Shelving that they put little things on it. It was so adorable.
It might be my second favorite or third favorite thing in the movie.
I just thought that it was they went a little beyond.
Yeah.
In this, and I thought it was really.
But no, that's important. That's important. That's like stage design, right? That's So there are a lot of people that get together to work on these things, right? And my obsession with wanting to know more about behind the scenes. But you make a really good point. Some of these people really go out. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Were they copying an airport design they had seen, or did they come up with that? If they came up with that, that was really good.
It was really good.
That's a really good idea.
Really was impressed.
And it's important. I guess I should have really looked that up. I don't know who did the stage design, who's responsible for that, but whoever it is, if you're listening to this, good job. It was good. Yeah. It was really good. I agree with you.
Now, was it relevant what he had picked up in the gift shop?
Oh, you're gonna call me out. What did he pick up?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Being funny? Or do you know?
I don't remember.
Oh, no, it was a magazine or something, wasn't it? I don't know. What did he pick up?
Was it a magazine?
That doesn't make any difference because he was the point of the scene is he's in a hurry, she's in a hurry. They both tried to pay for he's going up and he rings the little bell, kind of like a jerk, right? Like an impatient jerk. Whatever. I relate impatience with jerkiness, I guess, but he rings the little bell, that would be at the front of a bellhop's place, and he rings it, and Ashley, Kim Matula's character, says, I think she heard you, and she grabs the bell, right? So you get your little friction there. Well, when the lady comes up, they literally both pay for their thing at the same time with the same colored credit card. You can see where we're headed, and of course they do. They mix up their credit cards. We don't know that yet because both of them leave. They speak to each other. She says something to him, like a little initial. Do you remember what she says to him initially? Just like an initial, hey, how you doing, or whatever. Do you remember what he says?
Isn't it something to the effect of, it's been a long day, or it's been
Both
one
of them.
those...
Both of them go back and forth with each other about been that kind of day, sort of
Right.
thing. But it's very quick, and then they break away, and she goes on her merry way. He goes on his merry way, and they don't learn until later about the credit cards. But at any rate, he goes to his team, flies into the team, and she goes to her house, and both of them. We get to see a little bit of both of them. So we get to see Scott goes to the team. We learn about Scott. What do we learn about Scott?
Scott is fighting being in his father's shadow.
Well, we don't learn that, I don't think, right then. But yeah, he is. And what's he's like he's not a very merry gentleman. He doesn't care for the holidays.
He's getting ready to be indicted into the Hall of Fame, the dad.
Indicted would be...
Inducted.
Yeah.
You know where I was going.
Nathan Nolan, inducted. The two very different indicted and inducted words, but we're going to leave that right there. His dad's getting ready to get inducted into the some kind of...
NHL.
Is it the NHL Hall of Fame? Do they
Hall
actually call out the... Okay, soccer league. All right. But that's not... We don't learn that just yet, I don't think. What we learn is Scott not super merry. He's not a merry man, and this is a small town. Looks like these players, the players on this team are made up of people that are either trying to get to Boise, to the next team before they can go to the NHL, or, let's be honest, they're just kind of hometown heroes and they're just going to play and be
but we
good,
also have to
right?
mention that Scott is 32 years old, so he's up in age.
And they mention that, and you know, because like one of the players is like, hey, what's up, Pops? Keeps calling him Pops, old timer. I say, what's up? But the player's name's like Pierre. He's like French or something, like a French Canadian accent, so he doesn't say what's up. But Scott is, you know, the coach comes in and goes, hey, we're all going to it's a very don't you know kind of weird for Idaho, but whatever. He goes, hey, we're having coach comes in and says, we're having the celebratory thing where we get together with the town and, you know, and play or talk about the Christmas festivities or whatever. It's a thing we do for the town. The players do it for the town. And Scott stands up and says, hey, you know, no offense, I'm not really a holiday kind of guy. He says, I'm going to spend some extra time on the ice. And the coach says, as much as the town supports this team, I don't think it's too much for you to ask of you to come and be a part of this festivities where we give back to the town. And all the players kind of look at him and he's like, yeah, that's okay. That's fine. You know, he's we'll get there. We'll talk about him in a bit. But then we cut back to Kim Matula, who's Ashley. And Ashley is in she meets her sister meets her at the airport to pick her up because she's, you know, when she's coming in the plane. And we get to see her sister and her cousin. Is Becca her cousin? I think it's her cousin.
Cousin or childhood friend?
Oh, I think it's her cousin. I don't think it's her. I think they're childhood friends. She's quite a bit younger, it looks like. Anyway, she picks her up, but they pick her up at the airport, bring her back home, and we get to learn a little bit about Ashley's family. They're very, very Christmas. Seem very sweet, almost vanilla sweet, almost like there's not a standout personality like Dad's gonna be mad that you didn't bring your boyfriend home. No, it's quite the opposite. They're very, we love you, baby, we think you're the greatest. Don't you know? Like everybody's happy, you know. And that's her family dynamic. That's just who they are. And I was waiting for them to kind of one of them to show some jealousy or some, you know, like the Never Been Kissed, where the two moms were like, oh, maybe not everybody's best friend. But this wasn't like that. I don't want to bring up Never Been Kissed again, but you know, gotta leave that one out, right?
Well, and then we also, in bringing up the cousin or the friend, she's like starting out her, you know, like a real estate business.
She is. Yeah, you can go right into that if you want to. Yeah, she's very good in this as well. She does a good job. I'm so happy that a lot of these bit players in these movies that we're watching secondary characters wind up being the stars. I don't necessarily know if I want them to be the stars. I want the stars to be the stars, but I like it when they're really good. We're going to talk about one in the next movie. We talk about a couple of them, in fact. Multiples. Where the whole movie is made up of characters that you're just like these goofy, weird characters that you can't wait. There's one in this movie, to me. There's one we'll talk about, but let's talk about Kevin McGarry for our second. He plays this character, Scott. I don't know if you felt this way or not. I think he plays him very goofy. Mm-hmm. Like he plays him, and I kept thinking about, I'm going to name it a better performance. Jesse Hutch in Let It Snow. Jesse Hutch plays Brady in Let It Snow, character Brady, like he's got some problems with his dad, but that his anger isn't unreasonable. He plays him as a vulnerable man who can be messed with, but there's nuance to his performance. It's like he didn't just go, well, this is a stupid Mark Holiday movie. I'm going to come in here and kind of mosey around. And I'm not suggesting that's what Kevin McGarry did, but there's zero nuance to his performance. It's goofy, and it isn't like towards the end. I guess I can't say zero. Towards the end, when it gets a little bit more about his dad, he gets a little teary-eyed a little bit, because his dad is a former hockey player and treated his hockey team like they were his family, not his family. He was never around. And at this point with all these movies, you're like, okay, I guess that's what we have to do. I was at least happy that Ashley Kim Matula's character got to be a real estate agent and not in marketing like they all are, right? But he plays him very goofy, and and that made it difficult because Kim Matula is over there doing Kim Matula. She's acting. She's doing what you need the Hallmark actress to do.
Yes.
She's acting. He's kind of a problem in this one for me. Like I was like, oh man, he's remember how I picked on Tyler Hines being the president of the Nathan Fillion fan club. Well, this Kevin McGarry is the president of the Kurt Russell fan club. He is trying so desperately to be Kurt Russell from Overboard that hi, how you doing? Kind of like, you know what I mean? The sort of too cool for school guy. And which would be fine if at some point he kind of broke a little bit. But no, he plays it's very flat. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, she sets the stage for the, smitten, throwing the line out there, but he just doesn't seem to grab onto the hook. He's just very boring in his actions, in his behavior. He kind of acts a little bit like I got the short end of the stick. I'm a spoiled brat.
A little bit. He doesn't have an art, like a story arc. He starts out as being a little cynical and only winds up being slightly less cynical. He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't take the hook from her. He doesn't let you know, well, I'm kind of like falling for this girl.
There's absolutely nothing.
And which is weird. Like when we have these actors and actresses that are ridiculously good looking people like Andrew Walker and Tyler Hines and Nikki DeLoach, like Kim Matula is gorgeous. So, and he's a good looking guy too. So it's like, you guys are like peanut butter and jelly. What's happening? You should be taking this bait, dude. She's clearly into you, and she's not, she's a sweetheart. Like what's happening? And he never goes from, I just don't want anybody to bother me about holiday to, hey, I'm going, even when he's like drinking the eggnog and the eggnog scene, the gross eggnog, he's like, he's got a weird look on his face. It's like, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it. I was completely unaffected by it. And that's a problem, right? That we say it all the time. The two things that these movies have to have is charisma between the leads and writing, good writing.
Well, I think what they were trying to do was create him to be the stooge in this movie, and little snippets as it goes along, like her grandmother knits him a scarf and they all have like these scarves, these Christmas scarves that they wear. And then the Christmas gift that they give him is a picture of all of them together in their Christmas scarves. And so having received the scarf and then receiving the picture, he's supposed to be, I think, opening up to,
but his facial expression never changes.
letting family in, letting love in, and it was not convincing.
It's hard for me to tack that one on the writers, because it's written in there that he's supposed to be that way, right? Like the things that happen to him are supposed to be him gradually warming up. It's like, this way no one can see me doing this. It's like, it's just straight. If you were to draw a stick figure, he would just have a line where his mouth is. Mm-hmm. It's just it's a very wooden. I'm trying not to harp on the guy. I don't know anything else he's done. I think he was like a Mountie in or one of the Royal Guard. I saw a picture of it, but I don't know. I just,
so
his
basically,
performance was painful, and I still liked the movie, which lets you know what I think about the rest of the people in it. I like some of them.
I'm gonna take over. So
Okay.
So during the movie, like I said,
before you go to the story, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. There is one more character I wanted to get to, and his name is the actor. Actor's down there. Anyway, Dave is her brother-in-law, and he's got a real funny, like a real good funny moment where then. His name is Tucker Bowman, the actor that plays him. He's got a funny moment where he's got a restraining order on him at the hockey game because he gets too emotional. He's like a Kevin James. He plays a little bit of a Kevin James, kind of a big guy that's a little bit emotional and a little bit crazy or whatever, and kind of falls down. And he's funny. He does a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing him in other things. And I like Becca. I'm sorry. Now you can go. That's about it. That's where we're.
Yeah, he's put in like a little timeout at the game, and he
but
can't
it's funny.
even
It's a
keep
good
himself
moment.
in the timeout.
Isn't that weird? No, I'm gonna let you go right after I say this. Not a lot of funny in this.
No, I think that if they didn't have him as a character in there, I don't think I would have chuckled at all in this movie. So basically, having been introduced to Becca, the friend or the cousin, she goes on a run with her to try to sell a house and offers some advice, and you kind of get an insight as to her maybe transitioning from corporate real estate to local houses because Becca brings up, hey, if you ever wanted to come back here, I would love to start up like a housing realtor company business with you. I think we would be great, because she shares a little bit of insight with these prospective buyers who Becca seems to be losing their attention in the sale of this house, and she makes some simple little changes or suggestions to change, and the family or the couple falls in love with the house and says, I think it's perfect. And so it kind of opens up the idea of moving back to this area, getting away from the corporate New York world that she's in now that she's was swept under the, or what's the expression I'm looking for? The rug got swept out from under her from that boyfriend, by stealing her her client. So we know that that's potentially going to happen in the future. And then as he is working with this hockey team and not very happy because they're making him do these holiday traditions and being involved in the town, one of them is, like you said, taking over and coaching her nephew's hockey team. And even when he was doing that, I don't think he put any effort into trying to coach the hockey team. And I just thought it was really weird and random that when the kids did something, do you remember when the kids did something like scored a goal or blocked a puck or something like that, they automatically ran up to him and hugged him. And I thought that was like the most uncomfortable scene.
Yeah.
because he's not a very and he didn't give off any emotions in that scene.
But him not giving off emotions in that scene would be fine if he did in the next scene, because it shows he's growing.
Right.
But that never happens.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like a stooge in this movie that's just
Scrooge,
not taking his cues.
Scrooge,
Like he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And she was always making attempts. Like then she walked up to him and said, "Hey," engaging. So her character was very charming and was very convincing, trying to, I'm just a girl trying to meet a boy, and he was just completely not.
Were you
going
to do Notting Hill there?
Well, it was, she's putting herself out there.
I love Notting Hill.
And it's like, you wanted to kind of slap this character and say, either start reciprocating what she's putting out or get off the screen, because
2 different movies. They were both in 2 different movies. And isn't it weird, or is it me? The Hallmark movies we've watched more recently, or they haven't all been Hallmark movies, but the movies we watched recently, the worst parts of them? By far. The love story. The love stories have been terrible. Yeah. It's like we watched 3 Bed, 2 Bath, 1 Ghost, and it's like, and for Pete's sake, that's husband and wife. Nope, I didn't get much from that one. We watched Field Day, and it would have been better if it had been completely removed. Checking It Twice, Never Been Crisp was a disaster. I like Mr. Christmas more than you did, so I guess I would give that one a pass. But the best parts of this one were Ashley and Becca. I was like, will she come back home? This is gonna be cool. Is she gonna come back and start a real estate company? Like, give me a little Curious Caterer with Ashley and Becca starting their real estate, and then maybe introduce her to a love down the line, because Dollar Store Kurt Russell's not cutting it. Like, I don't.
I mean, they're really, honestly, so the end is that they both, make their way.
You don't have
back.
to even say the end, because everybody already knows what the end's going to be. And it's like, oh, you guys will decide that you're both going to stay in Idaho Falls. Because the part you didn't say, well, I don't know if you said it or not, but the coach approaches Scott at some point. I keep wanting to call him Mike. I don't know why. The coach approaches Scott at some point and gives him the coaching Bible that looks like an actual Bible. It's even got like the little Bible font on the front of it, this coach's Bible. And says, I think you'd be a really good coach. I've seen how you're working with the guys, the younger guys. And he's like, no, I don't. Coaching is for people that can't play, is what my dad used to say. And it's like that. And you're like, it was weird. And I guess it's because Kurt Russell's been in some hockey movies too, that I kept seeing Kurt Russell on the ice. So I was like, okay, I don't mind people that are doing, that are kind of like doing a parody, like a homage to another actor. This could be good. But then every time he had to speak, I was like, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you upset? Are you in love? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Like, what are you feeling currently? And if he had any point, if you could have turned this movie on and said, he's feeling X, I'd be impressed.
Well, maybe what's happening is that Hallmark is just seeing that they have something here, like a kind of like a cash cow, but they're making an assembly line worth of movies, and I think there was an uptick in viewers in Hallmark movies, and they really spit out, the good classic ones, and now it's just like they're like, let's get it out,
So maybe I am going to start being harder on these actors and actresses, even though I'm extremely complimentary of most of them. We've said it before, or I've said it a million times. Hallmark's a machine. Hallmark is, that's brilliant what you just said. They're just churning out 30, 40 of these a year. It's up to the actors and actresses to make the individual ones special. Because Hallmark is just saying an hour and 24 minutes and hit these story beats. Take me back to a hometown at some point, make them fall in love. That's what Hallmark is saying. It's up to the actors and the actresses to go, we're going to make this special. Mm-hmm. And that's why I have such respect for the ones that do. The Kim Matulas that go, I don't know if she's saying I want a shot at Hollywood. I think she's been in some other things before. I think she's just saying, I have pride. I'm going to do the best that I can in these, because I've now seen 2 movies of hers. She's been spectacular in both.
Yeah.
One of the
Well,
movies was spectacular, but the other one, she was spectacular.
it's kind of like, the original, I've said this in life about how, the way that they used
Ooh,
to
we're
make
getting ready to get a
houses.
Dalai Lama moment. You said I've said this in
No,
life.
like the way that they used to make houses and cars, like, the materials were better. They took their time, the foundation, the structure of lasts long, and it, is weatherproof, I guess you could say, as a metaphor. And, times have changed that, houses are going up left and right, and the materials are not like they used to, and things are falling apart. Cars,
You just
they're
laid some back in my day smackdown on top of Hallmark movie quality.
well, because
It's pretty good.
this movie is a perfect example. It's, you take Kim Matula, and she's an OG, she's come from good quality movies, and you throw her in there with this other co-star who, we've never,
Kim Matula, you are an OG. I think we need to. That
You
just
know,
needs to be
and
your takeaway from this, if you're hearing it.
and you're mixing, a good foundation and, plastic materials that they use nowadays, and it's just not working. It's falling apart, and you need to re-examine, and like Holiday in Handcuffs and just all those old.
Do something different, or do the formula better. Do something different, or do the same thing, but do it at a higher level of quality. And they've got a checklist. Here's your Christmas parallel. They've got a checklist, and as long as the boxes get checked, I think I'm going to make one for a future podcast. I'm going to make the episode. I'm going to make the Hallmark checklist, and we'll go through it at the beginning, and it'll be not very funny, but it'll be funny to me.
Yeah.
And you're right, though. Everything you're saying right now, I agree with completely. Though, I still did like it. It's got a great Christmas look. I mean, at least they got Christmas in it. Got a great Christmas look. A couple of good performances. Otherwise, I think Becca's good. Dave's good. Those two characters are great. I said Becca, and then I didn't even say the actress. Talking to you.
Jamila Hutton, I think.
You're right, but her name is Jamila Hall.
Hall.
Good job, yeah. Jamila Hall is fantastic in it. She's good. I'd watch a show with the two of them, and Tucker Bowman as Dave is good. I think that dude knows he was given his. When you watch a movie, a show, whatever you're watching, and you're like, oh, that person's going for broke. You can just see it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like swinging for the fences. Sports metaphors, betting metaphors all day long. They're swinging for the fences. Tucker Bowman was swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
And Becca played Jamila. What did I say? Hall. She played a much more subdued role that was really good. I hope we see her in some other things.
And I mean, this is going to be, this is me, I guess, being a little materialistic or shallow when it comes to criticizing these movies. But when there was something,
I'm so scared.
When there's something cute or worth mentioning, just like the inside of that, gift shop at the airport, is when her and Becca were getting their nails done. The way that they painted him with the little Christmas motif or whatever was so cute. I thought it was really good.
Okay, good. I thought you were about to criticize somebody's looks again. I was like,
no, I just thought, and I'm thinking, if this is what I got to take out of this, I'm just gonna have to.
You got to search for gotta get
advertise
the good out of it. I liked it more than that, but I won't want to watch it next year. Who am I kidding? We don't have time to watch hardly anything with all the shows we're trying to watch and record the episodes. But I'm not interested in seeing it again.
Yeah, so we can just end this on that note. And what would you rate it?
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought the rating thing back.
I'm gonna say a 2.7.
Oh, I'm not going that. 3.4, 3.3, 3.5. I don't know. Like there are bits of it I would go, oh, Becca and Ashley are talking, and they're gonna start a real estate school. This would be kind of cool. Ooh, that house they showed is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, the mountains and the pond or whatever it was, the lake in the background. I'm like, this is really good. I said pond. It's only a country thing. Nobody else says pond. It would have been a lake, even if it was a pond, right? But I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Show more of this. And then did Becca's just getting over her problem. Actually, I was already in a different movie. I was like, yep, I don't care what Scott's got going on. Honestly, that looks like every other boring drama that is terrible.
Well,
there's nothing funny. So
well, we challenge you all to watch it, and
Yep.
if you have things you'd like to add or agree or disagree, we'd love to hear from you. And just remember to do something that makes you happy today.